Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're on episode 20, I believe, of On the Virtual Chat. I'm losing count now and I'm in charge of this. This is absolutely nuts. Guys, I have got somebody with me this week who we've known, I don't know, 2 years? It's got to be 2 years. More than that. And we've met up in real life, spent a day at Silverstone as well at a Radical Motorsport event. But it gives me great pleasure to bring in Mr. Luke Maxwell. Luke, welcome in, bud. How are you?
Yeah, all right. Thanks, James. Yes, not too bad at all. Yeah.
How's it been with you?
All right. Yes. Yeah, we've been in and out the sim recently, doing a few events and things. But it's probably more going on in my life at the minute. It's taking a bit of time away from frequent racing. So
IRR always, it always comes first, and I think that's the thing on that one. So we're going to go into a generational jump here and find out where the driving started for you. Now, it doesn't have to be sim racing. We've had people who started with pole position and Ridge Racer and all the other far back consoles we're going to go. So how far back, Mr. Maxwell, are we going?
Well, I think I heard Mr. Sean Clark mentioning his ZX81. Yeah, the intro to gaming. Same for me, right? So we started with a ZX81 probably when I was 6 or something like that. So it must have been late 70s, very early 80s, something of that nature. Then we had things like Atari 2600 consoles, Space Invaders, that kind of thing.
Love that.
But not long after that, my dad actually ended up working. I don't know if you remember a company called Mastertronic that used to do budget games. So they were like 199 games for Spectrum. And
I was born in 1978, mate.
Okay, yeah, that's probably the right era. Yeah, you're only 4 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So basically, he ended up working for Mastertronic as a games buyer. We were quite close to the Darling family that went on to found Codemasters. So back in those days, games were kind of quite important. ZX Spectrum, Commodore 64, VIC-20, playing things like Action Biker and BMX Racers, and there was a cracking game called Kickstart that me and my brother we never got off that on the Commodore 64.
Yeah, I remembered that as well. It was amazing.
You had the series on telly, and then the game came out.
It was Dougie Lampkin.
That's it. Yeah.
It was Dougie Lampkin, wasn't it, who did it? And if anybody hasn't seen Kickstart, absolutely amazing game. I love that game and played it for ages and ages and ages, and literally trying to do some of the jumps and stuff on it. Now, if you haven't know what we're talking about, it's actually this game up here where you were doing the jumps.
That's the one. Yeah. And two player as well. So
and this is it here. I think this is somebody's actually advert. Lovely. So this is what we're talking about, as you can see from the quality of the graphics there.
That was good back in the day.
Hey, that's what I mean. It was a big thing. I'm just going to mute that a minute. I don't think we need to hear it. I don't think I've shared it anyway. But this was it, wasn't it? Jumping over a lot of the jumps and getting over, well, you can see there, over waterfalls and things like that. And that was awesome. I love that game.
There was that one, and there was Action Biker as well. I think you started off on a bike and you had to go around like building sites and roller coasters and collect things that upgrade your bike and make your bike faster. And the last one was you get a fairing and head on down the main road and try and get up to whatever it was, 80 miles an hour or something like that. And that's how you completed the game. So things like that, mate. And then after that, it was Atari ST was Stunt Car, I think it was called, and Test Drive, those kind of games.
Yeah.
Bit on the Commodore Amiga. Then of course it was PlayStation era, right? So Gran Turismo, F1 97, I think, was the first one. And we used to be around at a mate's house or around at our house, and it was just doing laps of Monaco really, because the gameplay actually wasn't that good. It was just more about lapping the circuits and getting as good as we could. So that's where it all started for me. Then really, I suppose video games, driving, didn't really factor in until I got into iRacing, which was 2017, I think, something like that, 2018.
Really? Early bird.
Yeah, well, I think there was a broadcast. I don't know if you were involved in it, but my cousin used to race Mazda MX-5s, and every now and again he'd post videos on Facebook of like follow-ups of the race. And
who was your cousin?
Andrew Maxwell.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I was watching that thinking, oh, this looks like good fun. I might have to give that a bash. What is this thing called iRacing? And then you go out and buy yourself a G29 and strap it to your desk, and
Mate, that's what I'm using now.
pedals on the carpet,
yeah,
and everything else. And
you're talking my rig here. This is it as well. That's exactly what I use at the same time. G29 strap to that. I just don't do enough racing for it to get a whole rig, mate. But how did we end up where we are in iRacing now then? Because obviously, you're quite high up in the iRating rankings of the percentages, aren't you? I think there's like most of the people on iRacing are between, I don't know, 1,500 and 2.5K. I think that's probably where most of their fan base is, or player base, I should say, not fan base, but player base is set. So, where are you sat at this moment in time?
I'm about 4.5K, but I've barely done any officials in the last 2 years. To be fair, it's all been league racing and special events. So I started off like anyone else. Didn't really know what I was doing. Getting in the Mazda and crashing left, right, and centre, and trying to learn. But I suppose I did put the hours in to sort of study and watch loads of videos, and eventually I did the is it Driver 61 Masterclass coach thing? But I was already like 2.5K, I think, when I joined that. So, the theory was great, but I was kind of, I suppose, on my journey at that point. Just that from then practicing and just keep trying to improve, keep trying to learn. And then I guess really, I think I was probably, I don't think I breached 3K until I started league racing in the Radicals. And then having done that and got a reasonable standard within the league, then obviously applying that into the.
Do you remember your first league?
I think it was probably a P Cup league. So back in those days, once I kind of got out of the Mazdas, I was driving the last version of the P Cup quite a lot. Used to enjoy the P Cup races, and I joined, I think, an Apex league doing P Cup, and I think I got a podium in that in one race, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And then I think I did a couple of Apex Radical-based leagues, and then thought, well, this is all right. But suddenly stumbled across one day on the internet the RRS league, and they just switched, I think, from SR8s to SR10s. I'd had a bit of practice in the SR10 and joined the league. I think I got pole on my first on my first league race, which is Laguna Seca. So I thought, oh, blimey, yeah, I'm doing all right here. And went on from there. So cracking. I love driving the Radicals these days, but not so much the SR10. I'm more in the SR8s now on the Monday league.
I was just about to discuss that because I think we had just got to the broadcasting when they started. I can't remember if it was one season before the SR10, but then we went to the SR10, and I think there was a lot of people who were like, this car isn't going so well. It wasn't quite in touch with what it feels like in real life, I think.
Yeah, I think when it first launched, it was okay. It was overpowered. So luckily now I've got some lap records on Garage 61 that won't probably ever be beaten because the car had too much power. I think then they went through a few iterations. They broke it, didn't they, for a period of time? There was a whole season where it was just undrivable. And
they smashed it to smithereens, and not in a good way. Because I remember we were talking to Jan up at Silverstone, weren't we?
Yeah.
All sat around and, mind you, we felt like superstars at that point because we sat in the Radical Motorsport tent, aren't we? You know what I mean? And he was like, yeah, we're now involved with this. We're now, coming on board to sort this car out because it is literally atrocious. It
lost a lot of following, didn't it? People stopped driving it.
Massively.
The officials died off completely because it was just, it was undrivable at that point. Now then, it did improve again. I think just last few seasons, I haven't raced RRS this season. Did a couple last season, just kind of fallen out of love with the car, really, to be honest. And not not been enjoying it so much. I've not, like I said, I've not really done any officials. The last official I did was a GTE race at Silverstone in the Porsche RSR, which is again one of my favourite cars and one of my favourite circuits. So yeah, that was quite good. I'll sit in and do a bit of practice every now and again now in sort of the GTEs, GT3s with the new tyre model. Try to, seems I'm all right, pace wise in the practice sessions. I just haven't done any races yet, so yeah.
It's a big jump, isn't it?
It's very different, yeah, definitely. Especially the first few laps.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little bit slidey, and that's the thing. I think for me, the interesting thing about the GT3s at the moment. I did have a broadcast of the race the other day, and it was Mercedes.
Yeah,
was the dominant car, which A, shocked the living hell out of me, and B, it was just interesting to see a different type of a different manufacturer up the front rather than the Porsches and things like that. But then again, Michael Gray, who's in one of the GT3s, he was in a Corvette or a McLaren. He started at the back and come all the way through and took the win.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I think a lot of it varies on the drivers of the car as well. But it's interesting you should touch on RRS at the moment as well, because they're in a very transitional stage, aren't they, currently at the moment? As you said, numbers have died, not only in officials within there as well. I know we've got the birth of Sandro doing his thing at Radical Sim Racing, and he's doing an amazing job. Don't get me wrong, I won't bash the guy. I've known the guy since FBL, which is years ago.
Yeah, I did a season or two of that as well. Back in the day, that was quite good fun racing.
That's where my whole commentary career started, was FBL. Commentating on myself taking out one of the owners, I think, at that point. So that was quite an interesting thing as well. But, I think that's the thing. I think there's a lot of leagues at the moment within that radical environment that are competing, but they're competing over a very small player, very small driver base, I think.
Yeah. And that's definitely a thing. I think that do I want to be doing radicals forever? I love doing the endurance events, so we'll jump in with John and a couple of the other guys doing Le Mans or Nürburgring 24 or Spa.
Team Radline.
We didn't do Spa, Team Radline. So getting a few of those endurance events are fun, but it is hard work, especially if I tend to dip off at night time and come back early in the morning and see where we're at. So.
You're not an overnighter then.
I'm not. I'm an early morning person. Late nights for me are.
I know, and that's the thing. Recently been jumping back in the SR8s.
Yes, loved it actually. To be honest, the SR8 league, the competition, the variety of tracks, especially the Monza classic. Monza's always a good laugh, even though I had a terrible one in the last race of the season the other day, but that's.
I can tell you now. It may. I think John's gone as the season closure of Monza Historic. It's like that's going on the end. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I will tell you now, you're back there next season as well. But that's the only hint I'm giving you guys as well. If you want to get any more, you have to get yourself in the JPB Discord and have a look. Coming out over the weekend on that one as well. So where did we? So you kind of stumbled across RRS. The interesting thing for me is, how did you stumble across Team Radline?
Was it through RRS? I think it was, just through racing in RRS and then chatting with the guys. And I didn't used to race for a team at all then. It was just sort of solo. And then they were doing some other events. I think John was doing. Was it GT4s we did and some Clio racing? So joined in for John and I were sort of teamed up for some of those, which was good fun. Till it all went a bit crazy in the Clios. So it's good. I like I don't mind. I love driving the Radical, especially the SR8, but I don't mind jumping in anything really, giving it a go within reason. So that's what I like, the variety of some of the special events, because you might be in LMP2 or GT3, or we've not really done the hypercars, to be honest, but I'm sure that'll come.
Well, I'm sure it will. Do you think that helps, though? Do you think that helps jumping from car to car to car?
Yeah, they're all got their own nuances, haven't they? As to how to try and get the best out of them. And I don't, you can't just jump in a car and, well, probably like John probably could. We can't all just jump in any car and be instantly quick and safe. For me, it takes a bit of practice and a bit of time. What did I jump in the other day for practice? Was the LMP3s at Silverstone.
Oh yeah,
that was good. I was thinking that's a good fun car on that track. I think it's good. I like the fact it's not too complicated, right? So I don't like cars where you have to do ABR changes or adjusting the modes whilst you're driving. I haven't got the brain capacity for it.
Mate, you and
just
me both.
get in a drive.
That's what I'm doing F4s
like.
this season. That is literally it. I'm doing F4s because it's just get in and just drive, and that's fine. What I mean? A couple of seasons are touching on NASCAR, but this season's truck schedule seems a little bit bizarre for me, so I've kind of stayed away from that. But I'm just looking here, and the F4 Regional Tour America, they are at Laguna Seca, and then Okayama, and I think it's Alton Park. I think
good circuits.
So I might have to give them a bash tomorrow when the wife's at work. I'm sure I'll have my job list, but we'll get through that and then go on from there. But where did we sort of sit back and we watch people's rises and stuff like that, and you sort of remember people sort of down here, and then you catch up with them a following season or a couple of seasons, and they're kind of up here, and you sit there and think, how did this gap be filled? As you said, you were at 2.5K when the driver 61. Do you think that helped you sort of move up that level?
I think the sort of theory of driving, understanding braking and tyres and suspension, how the car works, how you should be trying to, maximise corners, I suppose, maximise grip, understanding where where your car is visually on the tracks, making sure you're using most of the tracks. All the theoretical stuff I think helps. But for me, it's the competition really. You get in a league where you're continuously being pushed. I mean, racing against the likes of Simon Edwards for weeks after weeks after weeks, seasons after seasons, trying to match that guy because he's so bloody quick.
I've always wondered how old he is.
Let's go with 86. He's got to be old, doesn't he, to be that good?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And it makes me sick as well because, he is so quick, and I do wonder because obviously generally I only hear voices, and don't get me wrong, I'm not in the sixth sense or anything like that, and I'm hearing voices all over. But where obviously we had a commentate, we very rarely meet people in real life. John made me laugh when we met him at Silverstone. You're expecting, a figure, and you've got this little 5'3" Scotsman. That made me laugh. And actually, the other day, maybe Chris up the other day because the photos popped up. I don't know because Daryl was it Daryl taking the photos?
Yes,
was it? It was Daryl taking the photos, and they popped up on my phone, and I couldn't work out why. And then I realised that Daryl shared the drive to us all. Through Google.
Yes,
so,
that's
and then
right. Yeah,
the Google's attached to my phone, and then it's synced the photos. So the photos all come up as well. And I just found it quite amusing. Little pictures of John in there and everything else. So I do wonder roughly how old Simon would be.
I reckon he's probably in his 50s. Yeah.
I reckon you might be right.
Same as me. Yeah.
I reckon you might be right on that one. And I think that's quite interesting because there's a lot of younger children. I've got to choose my words
people.
Here. Younger people. Do you think that experience sometimes outmatches age?
I think it helps, but I've also raced with when I first sort of started off before I got into the radicals. I was racing with there's a couple of guys, one Swedish, one Danish bloke, and the Swedish kid Mattis Martinson, and he was like 16 when we met him. Joined our team for some events, but now he's like 7K Porsche driver, so he's just got that natural talent, right? And he's obviously learnt his trade, done a fair bit of iRacing as well. But he's a quick lad and he's very young, So I think it's both ways, right? You've got the older, experienced people who've got the pace, and I guess the racecraft of having all that experience in racing versus the young upstarts who have got the natural talent and just can turn it on very quickly. So.
Where do you think this is going for you? Because obviously we've had a lot of youngsters on as well. Gene Robros was one of them, and he was like, just going to take it as far as I can and go for that. Is this more of a a hobby rather than something you would look to pursue.
Yeah, it's a hobby, but it feeds that competitive itch. You know, I'm quite a competitive person, and
surely not.
Don't know if you've noticed.
I'm not really sure on that one as well. I think over the years, Luke, I may have seen some of it. You know what I mean?
And it's it feeds that kind of little bit of competition, the excitement of the race, and challenging yourself to push yourself to try and be faster. So yeah, I'm never going to be a 7, 8, 9K driver or whatever. I'll comfortable where I am, I suppose, in that ranking level. But I love the competition and love the races and the challenge of trying to get yourself to a place where it's you're at the front end of the grid. And then the challenge, lots of reverse grid races as well, where you're trying to come through without killing anyone, which is quite tricky.
Reverse grids are great, and they make the broadcast absolutely amazing, but they are just so risky.
Yeah,
especially the leagues that go full reverse.
Yeah,
because when they go full reverse and you've got 25 drivers, oh boy. You know what I mean? And but I think that's kind of what brings the excitement of it all as well. You know, for me, obviously commentary is mainly what I do. Driving, I'll have a laugh and a joke, but I don't care if I'm last in league racing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm last in an official, it generally means I've done something dumb and spun up the F4 tyres, or somebody in a Red Bull livery has come and decided that they want to be Max Verstappen. And just,
as they do. Yeah.
As they do. Which is the weirdest thing, because it's always generally the person who goes first and goes, good luck, everyone. And then you realise they're in the Red Bull livery and you're like, you're going to crash first. Yeah, I can guarantee.
Pretty well guaranteed, yeah.
Yeah, pretty well guaranteed on that one. So what have you got coming up in regards to events that you're doing next, do you think?
Well, we'll do the SR8 League coming next season, whenever that starts. I think a couple of weeks now.
11th of August,
yes,
I believe.
Yeah, I could do the first one. I'm going to miss the second one. Luckily, this last season I managed to make every race, which is quite nice. Yeah,
you made a whole calendar.
A whole calendar. They didn't all go well, but
Maxwell, how impressive! You made it all the way through the season.
So I did a whole season. I think the RRS League are going to do some combination of SR8s and SR10s.
I think they're trying out some stuff, aren't they? I think Simon's on the mission of trying to balance and work them out. So I believe that's where they're at. That's kind of why. Talking to Graham and Darryl and we were just like you guys are really in a transition period here. Let's just not worry about me broadcasting. I'm still here when you need me. Get yourself sorted out. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the thing. And don't get me wrong, they've worked hard and everything else to do it. So hopefully I think
they're just trying to save it, really, aren't they? And that's the key. And I'll jump in and see if I can join a few races and maybe this trial phase and see if it works out. It sounds like they had quite a successful test last night with a reduced power reduced power SR10 and an overweighted SR8. So seemed to make it quite competitive between the two cars. So it'd be interesting. We'll give it a whirl. If you can get the balance right between the two cars, because I tried it years ago I think a league invited me for a fun event that was SR8s and SR10s, and it was impossible because the SR10 was just so quick on the straight, and the SR8 was just so quick in the corners. Every corner was absolute, chaos. It was crashes left, right. It just didn't work. But if they found a way that it could work, cars obviously have changed a bit, or the SR10 has changed a bit over the years. So we'll give it a bash. I think other than that, you're kind of hitting the end of the special event season now, aren't you? They all seem to come thick and fast, and then there's a bit of a lull.
Still waiting for me MX500 series.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've got to go back to defend my crown.
Do it, yeah.
Got to go back to defend my crown on that one. So that's what I'm waiting for at the moment. I don't actually know when that is out. To be fair, I did have a bookmarked page, but due to changing iRacing special events, what have we got going on? Event calendar, there we go. So it's the Knoxville Nationals, they're out at the moment. Race for the Cure, 2 hours 24-minute charity team racing event. Portimao 1000, that'd be quite interesting. Crandom Championship Indy 6 hour. Oh, that's GTP, Hypercar, LMP, and GT3 IMSA style. So that could be quite a cool one.
Yeah, it could be a good one.
Bristol 500, which is Cup Series, Bathurst 1000, Petit Le Mans. Oh,
yeah, I've done Bathurst 1000 before. That was interesting.
Yeah, Petit Le Mans means that in that week between October the 3rd and 10th, I think it's going to be.
I'm away.
I'm going to be on so many Road Atlanta broadcasts.
Yeah.
Because everybody will have that on the calendar. MX 500, October 27th to the 21st to the 27th. So that's where I'll be there defending my championship. You can guarantee it ain't going to go as well.
Where does it race? Where is
Martinsville.
it? Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we do. It's a 500 lap race at Martinsville in the MX5s.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I started last on purpose.
Mr. Chaos.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And then I ended up in first place on the last, about 15, 20 laps to go. Yeah, what made it worse is I was in VR.
Oh.
4.5 hours in VR.
That sounds painful. Yeah.
It was painful, partly due to the fact that spotter, we were like, it's only going to be an hour. Let's just try out the VR, see how we get on. And then bugger me 4.5 hours later. My spotter's screaming in my ear. It's the final lap and you're in first place. Be careful. You got to nail the restart. He was going. I was like, okay.
Don't panic.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be an interesting one. But if you've got somebody and you've got them new into iRacing, what sort of advice would you give to them? How would they end up at 4.5K?
I think you've got to learn the theory. Everyone does it, right? You start doing races and just think, everyone goes in thinking they're better than they are. we all have this reality check of, right, you're not as good as you think you are.
Let's look at rookies, and that gives you a prime example when you first start, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everybody's overdriving the cars, aren't they? They're screeching into corners too fast and not really getting good exits and just wasting time really. So I think learn a bit of the theory. I would always say that. I think do a bit of studying on how it should be done properly and watch other people, learn from other people. Loads of track guides out there. I was a member of the VRS when I used to drive the P Cup quite a lot, so you could compare your telemetry. But you're trying to compare like a 2K guy yourself against a 7-8K pro racer, and it's just I think that's why I really do like Garage 61, because you can go and find people of a very similar level in similar conditions with similar fuel loads, and you can then start to look at data and see where you might be losing out or where you might be making mistakes, and it's you can uncover some pretty big big steps of how people are doing things slightly differently potentially. So I think.
How's it going for you in the rain?
We did the majors the other day in the LMP2 with Paul Crabb, John, myself, and we had I think Stephen from over in the States doing it with us. It was a nightmare because it started off dry as you expect, but it wasn't like it rained for a bit. I think they held off the rain for a while, but when it started raining, it was stop, start, stop, start. So the circuit was continually in transition between wet and dry. And it just, it was a nightmare. And I think the one I did one the year before, ended up joining a South American Le Mans 24 hours stream. The YouTube figures were incredible. It was like 3,000 people watched it or something like that.
Nice.
And obviously couldn't understand a word the commentators were saying. And again, just pissed it down for 24 hours. You just think, I don't mind the rain. I can get used to it, and I'm sort of okay. It's more the visuals, obviously. With the spray, it's so hard to see. But the grip levels, I think you can work around and try and adjust your driving. But the visual, and if you're in a big pack and you just can't see a thing. I mean, you feel obviously they had F1, didn't they, at Spa the other day, and they're all complaining about how wet it is when it's like, and you think, it's dry now, come on.
It's like
get on with it. But actually, when you're in that situation in the sim, you kind of realise how difficult it is to see, even
Dude,
in that.
I had it last Wednesday. I had it Wednesday, the F4. We were at Snetterton.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a kind of rain-dry crossover. half the grid went for rain on the beginning. I went for dries because visually there was a line there.
Yeah.
And let's just say it wasn't the right tyre choice. And then when I went to wets, it blinking dried out. And then I went back to dries, and then towards the end, and this was all in 35 minutes. And then the end of the F4s, it started peeing down again. So I'm like,
always on the wrong tyre.
Yeah, that was pretty much, that was it. And that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing with rain. I think the only sort of gripe I have with it is when it rains in real life, it makes a big impact on the track in a short period of time. I find when it rains in iRacing, the impact isn't quite as much. And I did a Super Formula broadcast, and they had 35 laps. It started raining on lap 12, and they still went 35 laps to the end on dries. And it just doesn't seem to make that track evolution quite quick enough for me, I think.
I think that's fair. I think I think you're right there. You do see somewhere. I watch a load of YouTube videos of people doing iRacing, and you're watching them in the rain, and you get ones. I think was it Basic Ollie the other day did one, and he did a whole race on dries, and it was a wet race. I think that was at Watkins Glen, and you just managed to pick a tyre. It was wet, but it was drying throughout the whole race. Yeah. But it should have been more difficult than it was. Everyone else started on wets, I think, and
and that's the only one thing I've got is that their evolution of the track just isn't quite on the money. Yeah. I think at the moment, I think I know they still bring out updates and stuff, but I think it just needs to be a little bit more decisive.
It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, we all wanted rain for years and years and years, and then when it comes along, it's not going to be perfect, is it?
No, I think for me though, from my point of view on that side of things, that's probably the only real main issue I've got with it. Is just the participation just isn't quite there on the track. Yeah. Other than that, I think it looks amazing. I think track wise, when it does come down and there are puddles and you're fighting to find the racing line. And I think it's all amazing. I think they've done a great job. It just needs to be sped up just a little bit more on the track. I think, for me, that's the only one thing I would probably really be picky about. But I think overall they've done an amazing job with it. But you could imagine the forum when they did get rain, it was on a different level.
I mean, I don't mind it. I like, especially some of these longer events. But I think they have chucked rain in an awful lot of things, haven't they? But then, as I heard the other day, that they were still obviously trying to understand a lot of the data in the rain. That's why there has been so much rain in the sessions over the last year, really. But it's fine. Yeah, like the more it comes to different cars, it should make for more.
We've got to be nearly done, haven't we?
Is it
in the 10 yet?
I don't think so.
Maybe there ain't many left then, I think. I think it's pretty much in most of the other stuff. I know it's in F4s, TCRs, Porsches, Super Formula Light, Super Formulas. I know it's never going to be in NASCAR, but I think GT4s...
The 10 would be a bloody pain, wouldn't it, in the rain? It's bad enough in the dry.
Mate, I think the 10 would be a great IRSR gainer.
Yeah.
Because nobody would make the end.
Yeah.
And as long as you're sensible, you just
build around at the back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Nords, isn't it? A ringmeister. Yeah. I think not many people would make the end of that as well. And I think that's the thing. What from your side of things then? You race, you work. Is there any other hobbies that you do outside of this and this whole sort of bubble that we create?
Yeah, I suppose. Quite like the odd game of golf every now and again. Which we'll tend to go
on a golfer.
I'll tend to go on a golf trip once a year. Luckily enough, I'm getting to play Wentworth in a couple of weeks.
Bro!
My sister won a charity ball event. Won a 3-ball at Wentworth, and then she said, "Hey, this is how much I spent on it." I said, "I'm not paying that. I'll give you this much. I'm not paying how much you paid." So I bought a slot at Wentworth off my sister, and my brother-in-law's going, and a bloke at work who.
I really want to know how much you paid for it now.
Well, one round.
How much did you?
I paid £300.
And what did she pay?
500 for each round.
I've just started looking at it back in it because I used to play golf many moons ago, before kids, when I was still living up in London. I used to play over saying London, I used to live just outside as well in Slough. And I used to play a lot. Pretty much driving range after work, and then Saturday it was like driving range. Then it was like, we met up for breakfast, and then we went to the driving range, and then we'd play a game of golf, and then I'd wind down on the driving range after, and then my lesson would be in the afternoon. And
very keen,
so
yeah.
it was a lot, and I was down to like 5 handicap at one point, and then life, kids, and everything else. And we were actually watching. I don't know if you've seen on Amazon TV. There's a program called Sticks.
No, I've not seen
with
that.
Owen Wilson.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's ex-pro golfer and takes on a kid. And obviously there was a big release of Happy Gilmore 2 as well, which was... I don't know if you've seen it.
I've not seen it. I was watching a Bryson DeChambeau video the other day, and he had... what's his name? Out with him in the golf. Adam Sandler out with him playing golf for.
It's a Marmite film, right?
Yeah.
And but that Sticks program is really good. And I said to the missus about getting back into the golf, and I said to her, "Would you want to come out and have a play? Because obviously I'm down in Somerset. There's, down in the sticks down here. I've got Mike up the road, but he can't, unless he's got a tractor with him, he can't drive on a bleating golf course anyway." And she was like, yeah. So I've been sort of hunting around. And the only problem I've got is I'm left-handed.
Okay.
So the clubs have to be left-handed. And my last set I bought, I actually got them measured because being I'm 6 foot, I was 6'1" until the doctor told me I was shrinking the other week. So I got them fitted and all that, and they cost me nearly 1,800 quid.
Oh, wow.
Set of tailor-mades they were at the time. And I was looking around and there was still quite a lot of money. So I've been like strolling. I thought, let's get Facebook Marketplace and then, pick up a set like that first, just to get back into the whole like swinging and stuff like that. So I'm going to be looking at doing that over the next few weeks as well. So that's going to be quite an interesting one for me, taking the wife up the driving range and seeing how we get on. But I'd spoken to Jack Ashton last week and Luke Crowley the week before, and I'd asked them both the same question. And I said, "You look like you would play golf." And they were like, "No, we don't play golf." So when you said I play golf, I was like, yes, somebody else who actually plays golf.
Not very well.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that matters, does it?
Yeah, we go out probably 6-7 times a year maybe, just for a laugh really. And although I used to play. I used to be a member years ago, and I think my best rounds are kind of 82, that sort of number.
Yeah.
I've done that a couple of times, and then I played last year just at the local course in Bicester, and they've shortened it to a 9-hole, but you play twice off different tees. I think I was rubbish until the 9th hole, and then between 9 and 16, I was 1 under. It's like I had the ball on the string. Every shot I hit was just perfect.
Yeah.
Getting myself out of trouble, putting the ball up by the pin, and so it was like 3 birdies and a bogey, and a couple of pars, and so whatever. I think it was two birdies, 1 bogey, and all the rest were pars. And just like that 9-hole spell was the best I've ever played, and then it all went to pot again at the 17th and 18th.
That's the thing. I think golf is such an unpredictable game, man. And it's so hard as well. People just think you do literally Adam Sandler it, run up and it's not that. It's not that at all. But what sort of other things do you get yourself up to? What do you generally do?
Well, cooking. I quite enjoy cooking. Obviously, we got a family of 5 here, so family of 5 and 2 dogs. So the house is always busy with stuff going on. Is that
wife and 3 kids?
Wife and 3 kids, yes. Yeah, stepson's 26. He's still here. I can't get rid of him yet. And then my daughter's 17 and my son's 15. So it's like a house of 5 grown-ups, really, to be fair. And they all need feeding. And
I presume you're still cooking for them all? Dad's
the main cook, yeah. Yeah, so quite enjoy a bit of that. Getting out with mates, me and the missus. We joined a dance club a few months ago.
Yes.
So yes,
I remember you saying about that, because that's why you couldn't make a race.
Twinkle Toes, I think John called me now.
Yes, he did. Yes.
So we've been doing that for about 3-4 months now, and it's just a good crack, really. You go up there on a Wednesday and
what are you dancing?
It's just various different ballrooms, whether it's cha-cha or rumba or tango.
It's strictly going to come your way?
No. Strictly come having a laugh, and then the best bit is followed by the pub. So
well, there you go. Make up for the sore feet.
Keep the missus happy, and then have a couple of beers. That's
Mate,
ideal Wednesday night, mate.
Mate, I don't think you can complain though with that either. Is it? You say you with the missus, you're having a good time, you're out on your date night. I've got one tomorrow actually with mine. To be fair, because we're going out tomorrow, go to the cinema. Finally, going to try and get and watch Jurassic Park.
Okay, yeah. My missus wants to see that as well. So
yeah, we're off to do that tomorrow. Mind you, cinema tickets aren't cheap anymore. Well, not where we're going to Cineworld, and that's quite a lot of money just to sit and watch a film.
Yeah, we get two free a month, I think, with Sky. But it's View, and there's a local View cinema near us. So we haven't bloody used them for about a year, but yeah,
you should go and have a look. It's supposed to be really good, apparently. So we normally, when we touch on the end of these sort of podcasts, Luke, we normally discuss one car, one track. Now, if I remember from a message that you sent me, I think there was a question that you asked about one car, one track, asking what it is. Now, did you? Obviously, I explained it to you. So, have you come up with a car track combo?
Yes.
What have we got?
We have got the Ariel Atom 4R.
Okay.
At Singapore GP circuit, under the lights.
Ooh.
And I might have put a bit of thought into this one.
I can see. I mean, you've put a lot of thought. So this is what we're talking about?
We are, yeah.
That's the one. That was there was one of them, whatever for a minute. There was one of them at Goodwood this year, I believe.
Oh, was there?
I'm pretty sure there was an Atom at one of them. And there was also one, somebody had changed one of these into a sim rig.
Oh, right. People will do all sorts, won't they?
64,900.
Oh, that's not too bad, is it? Luckily enough, I did get to drive an Ariel Atom at a Palmer Sport Day years ago, but that was before I started sim racing, so I didn't really know what I was doing. But I think the instructor said at the time, it's there's no, you'll get massive understeer on the throttle, so it's a case of chuck it into the corner, let it come out, and then stomp on the throttle. It's one of those. You've got to be a bit. As soon as you get on the throttle, the front end will lift, and there's dragging off all over the place. So.
And you would put that there?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Marina Bay.
Yeah. Under the lights, night time.
Ooh. I don't know if that could run like that.
The hardest bit about this question is the circuit, right? Because there's so many in iRacing. Everyone you think of, you think, oh, that's already there. And I looked back the other day and I watched, I think it was Vettel's pole lap from 2016.
Yeah.
It's just epic. It's probably one of those that leads to better, out and out laps than racing. But I think it looked pretty good. Quite technical.
Very. I mean, that's a very technical circuit to put a car like that. Do you think it would have too much power, though?
No. Well, you got F1 cars going around there, haven't you? So
yeah, but
you've got to be all right in one of these, surely. And these are going to be smaller, aren't they, than an F1 car? The ginormous F1 cars of today. So.
I suppose for them, it'd be a bit of a longer go-kart circuit.
I think so, yeah.
Wouldn't it? It would be.
Yeah. Someone's going to have to do it. We'll have to see what happens.
I'll try and speak to a mod in AC and see what we can come up with. That's an interesting choice. That is unique. I will tell you now. Nobody else has come up with that car and track combo. Are we going to see you going out spending 64,950 on a car?
No, we might be moving house soon, so that's where all the money's going.
What, staying in Bicester, or are you moving?
Yes, yeah. There's one house in Bicester that we've always sort of thought if that ever came on the market, we'd see if we could do that, and lo and behold, it did about 3 weeks ago. So we were like, oh right, let's get the house valued and see if we can do it. But we'll see. Time will tell. It's got a massive garden. It's got like about an acre of land or something. It's,
you get ride on Luma.
Well, I think I'll probably get a robot one. I reckon.
Oh,
Yeah,
a little bit lazy.
Get it to chase the dogs around.
Yeah. I can understand that one. I'd be a little bit lazy though. A little bit of a robot. I think I'd have more fun sitting on a ride-on.
That is true. Yeah, yeah. I used to when I first left school. I was a greenkeeper for a couple of years, so I used to get to ride all the different machines back in the day, and
I drove a tractor with gangs on.
Going
up and down the fairway, and that was at Ilchester Golf Club. It was kind of the dream job actually because I got free golf.
Yeah.
I never paid for it.
I started it.
The problem is the job paid crap.
Yes.
And that's the only thing.
That's why I don't do it now.
Yeah. Your dream job almost never ever pays you the money that you wanted to. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if I was there. God, bloody hell. That was 30 years ago. I think I was working there. And it was just the joys of free golf. I mean, that was the best thing for me.
It's nice in the summer as well, that kind of job, but in the winter it's shit.
Yeah, winter very nice. I think we spent most of winter telling people to get off the tee boxes.
Yeah.
And get onto the AstroTurf mats that were laid down. Yeah. And that was a lot of it as well. And I do remember they had they're like quads, but they were little freewheelers, and on the back you had like a flatbed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of our guys decided to drive that a little bit too quickly, and went because we had a path that led down because one of the holes was just literally you shot it and it landed down here, so it was just a long par 3, but it came downwards, and the track went like this down to it, and we were driving back and going back to the shed, and he went too quickly and put himself over the edge and smacked one of the trees head on. Yeah, and then just see the cushion go that way and him go that way, and it was a little bit dramatic.
Yes, I managed to both crash and roll a golf buggy whilst I was there. We had a big sort of hill at where the clubhouse was, and then you go down to the 18th tee, and it's all downhill. But on the tarmac road, you could put these things in neutral. We used to have like a golf buggy with a cage on the back, so you put the mowers and stuff. So we get at the top there, get it to 12 miles an hour, and then whack it into neutral and go as fast as we could down the hill. And there was a turning at the bottom. Of course, it's like a handbrake, isn't it? The brakes on those. You stomp on the brake. Suddenly, I've gone sideways. The buggy's gone up on its side. I've fallen arse over out of the buggy, and my arse is going along the tarmac. And then, luckily, the buggy was all right. But another time, I think some guys are messing around behind, trying to undo your cage behind them. Somebody stopped in front of me and just smashed the front end of the buggy up. So, it was.
I bet that boss wasn't too happy about that.
It was a very embarrassing drive back to the greenkeeper's shack with your smashed up buggy.
Yeah.
So, sorry, boss.
I think that's the thing. If jobs like that were more better, I don't know what they're at now. Obviously, this was a long time ago. I don't know what they would be now, and I think you'd probably find me still doing that. Because funny enough, I did really enjoy doing that. But just the pay was shocking, and it was just rubbish. But I think nowadays it would be good. If I did ask what your dream job would be, what would you tell me?
Oh, I'm too old now for a dream job, I think.
Mate, you're never too bloody old. Give over.
Well, you got the obvious ones, haven't you? Sort of racing driver, or pilot, or astronaut, and all that stuff.
All right, realistically, what do you think you could agree? What do you think you could achieve?
Oh, I don't know. I've got a good career.
So all right. So let's clarify. What do you do now?
Okay, so I work for a Danish company now, called Concha Group. About 1,200 people. They took over a company that I joined 7 years ago. That was 12 of us in the UK. So started in that quite early. So we're technical sort of Cisco network and enterprise consultancy for companies. I head up the support team in the UK. So kind of like. Been doing that for 5 or 6 years. Do you work from home? Mostly, yeah.
Okay. So if you took that and thought, okay, so that's my career, I could do that, and that's fine. What would you do outside of that?
It would have to be something involving cars of some kind. Yeah, it would have to be cars. Whether that's working on cars or driving cars or something of that nature. Working. They've got Best of Heritage up the road here, so they're taking people out on track and that kind of thing. That sort of thing would be all right. I think.
Get applying, son. Get applying.
Well, I'm sort of thinking 10 more years, and I might be able to hit the retirement button, and then you can do what you want, then, can't you? As opposed to what you have to do. So I might end up going back to greenkeeping just to keep active, or doing something. You
just
like
want 3 games of golf. Don't tell fibs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right, guys, that's going to wrap it up on the bombshell. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, I really, every week, I do kind of forget to bring up who I've got on next week on that one. I think where is it? I think I've actually got an off week next week as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think it might be an off week. Because obviously, is it an off week? I think it actually is an off week next week. So I'm sure we'll probably get somebody in to fill a space. Luke, thank you so much, mate. It's been a pleasure having a chat with you.
Thank you, James.
Finish on a random conversation about greenkeeping. Hey, that's the purpose of a podcast. So this will go out, guys, as soon as possible as well on Spotify. There's also going to be Jack Ashton's ones to load up. I need to catch up. I've been a bit rubbish. I've been a bit busy and need to get them both up there. So check out Spotify as well. If you want to get yourself involved, link is down in the description below. Fill the form out. I'll contact you, get you into the Discord, and then we'll set up a date ready to go. But for now, thank you so much. As always, I've been JP. I've been alongside Mr. Maxwell for this evening. Pleasure. And I look forward to catching up with you soon. So take care, guys, and good night.